In this ASMR episode, I will read a child book classical called Little Red Riding Hood. RSMR Katz. Hello, my beloved mouses. My name is ASMR Katz, and I warmly welcome you to my ASMR YouTube channel. I will read in a few minutes for you the childhood classical book Little Red Riding Hood. Today I have a very special suit on, my new onesie. Look. The funny thing is I have a winter onesie out of very thick cotton, and I have now also a summer onesie. It is very, very soft. It's like a t-shirt, and I feel super comfortable in it. I could wear it a full day. Where I live, at the place where I live, it is very, very cold inside and very warm outside. So I always need to put clothes off and on and off and on again. And with the onesie, it is perfect because you just put it on and you just open the front when it's too hot. And I feel super comfortable in it. And I love the color combination. Oh, yeah. Okay, back to the topic of this ASMR episode. I read a lot of different child books, and I also read all Dr. Seuss books, and I really enjoy to just spending the time while reading, and yeah, I'm super happy when you just listen to it. And if you like already what you see, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on the like button and on the notification bell, because every Wednesday, Friday and Sunday I upload a new ASMR clip for you. And I have a lot of different clips, so you just feel free to check them all out. I don't know if you know the book Little Red Riding Hood. For me, I know it, and I am very happy to read it again. And I try to remember when I was listened to it the first time. Maybe you can tell me when you was listened the first time to this little book, and let me know your thoughts about it. Little Red Riding Hood, retold by Vera, Southgate. Illustrations by Marina. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who was loved by everyone who knew her. Her grandmother was so fond of her that she delighted in giving her presents. She made her a beautiful cape and a hood of red velvet. The little girl liked it so much that she never went out without wearing it. In time, everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood lived with her mother and father in a small cottage near the edge of a large forest. Her father was a woodcutter and worked all day in the forest. Little Red Riding Hood loved her grandmother just as much as her grandmother loved her. Nearly every day she went along the path through the forest to visit her. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother said, "Little Red Riding Hood, I have put a cake and a bottle of blackcurrant juice in this basket. I want you to take them to your grandmother. She is ill, and they will do her good. Keep to the path and do not wander off into the forest," warned Little Red Riding Hood's mother. "Don't worry, I shall take care," promised Little Red Riding Hood, as she took the basket and waved goodbye to her mother. Before she had gone very far along the path through the forest, Little Red Riding Hood met a wolf. She had never seen a wolf before, and she did not know what a wicked creature he was. She thought he was a large dog, and she was not in the least afraid of him. "Good morning, Little Riding Hood," said the wolf. "Good morning, sir," she replied. "Where are you going to so early in the morning?" asked the wolf. "To my grandmother," Little Red Riding Hood replied. "And what have you got in your basket?" the wolf went on. "A cake and a bottle of blackcurrant juice," said the Little Red Riding Hood. "Grandmother is ill, and mother has sent this to help her to get well again." "Where does your grandmother live, Little Red Riding Hood?" continued the wolf. "Just a little further in the forest," answered Little Red Riding Hood. "Her cottage stands under the large oak trees." "What a tender young creature this is," thought the wolf. "She will make a more juicy mouthful than the old woman. But if I am cunning, I should manage to eat both." So the wolf strode along beside Little Red Riding Hood for a little while. "Look at all the pretty flowers under the trees," he said. "Are they not beautiful? And can you hear the birds singing? You should stop and enjoy these pleasures instead of walking straight along the path." Then the wolf said goodbye to Little Red Riding Hood and set off quickly for grandmother's cottage. Little Red Riding Hood did as the wolf suggested and looked around her. The forest was indeed a lovely place. The sunbeams danced through the trees. The ground was carped with beautiful flowers, and overhead the birds sang merrily. "I shall pick a bunch of fresh flowers for my grandmother," thought Little Red Riding Hood. "They will cheer her up." So she wandered further and further from the path, gathering the prettiest of flowers. By now, the wolf had reached grandmother's cottage. He knocked at the door. "Who is there?" called grandmother. Little Red Riding Hood, replied the wolf in a high voice. "I have brought you a cake and some blackcurrant juice." "Press the latch, open the door, and walk in, my dear," said grandmother. "I am so weak that I cannot get up." The wolf pressed the latch, opened the door, and walked in. Without saying any word, the wolf went straight to the bed and gobbled grandmother up in a mouthful. Then he put on of her night dresses and a nightcap which he pulled well down over his eyes. He drew the curtains and got into bed, pulling the bedclothes well up to his chin. Then he waited. Meanwhile, Little Red Riding Hood had wandered from the path, for the loveliest flowers always seemed to be furthest away. When she had gathered a pretty posy of flowers, she returned to the path and went on her way. When Little Red Riding Hood arrived at her grandmother's cottage, she was surprised to find the door standing wide open. "Good morning, grandmother," called out Little Red Riding Hood as she went inside, but she got no reply. Then Little Red Riding Hood began to feel rather uneasy. She went up to the bed and drew back the curtains. There lay her grandmother, with her cap pulled down to her ears and the bedclothes pulled up to her chin, looking very strange. "Oh, grandmother," cried Little Red Riding Hood, "what big ears you have!" "All the better to hear you with, my dear," came to reply. "Oh, grandmother, what big eyes you have!" "All the better to see you with, my dear." "Oh, grandmother, what big hands you have!" "All the better to hug you with, my dear." "Oh, grandmother, what big teeth you have!" "All the better to eat you with." With these words, the wolf jumped out of bed and gobbled up Little Red Riding Hood in one mouthful. Then he climbed into bed, lay down and fell fast asleep. Soon he began to snore. He snored so loudly that the cottage shook. Just at the time Little Red Riding Hood's father was passing nearby, he heard the awful snoring coming from the cottage and thought he had better go in to see why Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother was snoring so loudly. When he went up to the bed, he saw the wolf lying there. "You wicked creature," he cried in rage. With one blow of his axe, he killed the wolf and pulled him out of the bed. Then he had an idea. Perhaps the wolf had swallowed grandmother's whole, and perhaps he was in the time to save her. Little Red Riding Hood's father cut open the wolf, hoping to find grandmother inside alive. Imagine his surprise when he popped up a little red hood and out jumped Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh, how frightened I was," cried Little Red Riding Hood. "It was as dark as night inside of the wolf." Then her father helped grandmother out. She was still alive, but was feeling very unwell. Little Red Riding Hood and her father put grandmother into bed. They gave her some of the cake and some blackcurrant juice. Soon she was sitting up and feeling much better. They were happy and relieved, all to be alive and well. Little Red Riding Hood's father took her by the hand and led her back home. When Little Red Riding Hood's mother heard their story, she was shocked, and she gave her little girl a big hug. Little Red Riding Hood promised that she would never wander off the path through the forest again, and she never ever did. A story of Little Red Riding Hood. The story of Little Red Riding Hood has inspired pictures, books, films. However, the story probably started life as a folk tale in France or Italy. It was first written down and published by a French writer. Retold is remembered for writing the early versions of many of the fairy tales that are still popular today, including Cinderella, Puss in Boots, and Sleeping Beauty, in his historious Aux Contes de Temps, stories or tales of past times. In the 18th century, the Brothers Grimm published a new version of Little Red Riding Hood called Rotkäppchen in German, which means Little Red Cap in English. Over the years, the story's popularity has remained. I have to say, I was always listening to the stories from the Brothers Grimm. And as I was a kid, I never ever felt so weird. But since I am a grown up person, the stories from the Brother Grimms was always just insane. They was very aggressive and pretty hardcore. And the books I read here, the childhood classic books, they are very soft written, what is actually pretty nice because we are here an ASMR channel to relax and to enjoy. But the books from the Brothers Grimm was always so intense. And it is funny that when I was a child, I never felt that intensity, but since I'm grown up, I have to say it's even more intense to know that these books are made for childs to listen to. Little Red Riding Hood is always in all the versions more soft and more aggressive. To know that a kid was eaten alive by a wolf and then cut it out of the body of the wolf is very insane. And it is nice that this is a fairy tale and that it's not actually what happened, but the same with different animals, that animals get triggered negative, so people are afraid of animals, what is also okay, because some animals are very rough, but also what is very weird, because the truth actually is that the humans are capable of doing this to a wolf easily and not the other way. So to think about the honesty of a child book and the aggressivity in the child book then you also need to take care that a human is way more aggressive than an animal on this planet. Because what the animal do in some stories to the humans is most of the time different. Because the humans do it more to the animals. So I really like fairy tales, but I also like the truth, honesty, even when it's in a cartoon. I am always stick with stories who you can read between the lines, and stories as well where you can think about it, and also to teach our future, the kids, what especially it means when you speak about fairy tales and what actually the truth of a fairy tale also is. Maybe you want to write me in a comment your thoughts about this topic. I would be amazed if I could read what you have to say about it. And I also would love to see you soon here back again. I have a lot of different fairy tales waiting for you. I read a lot of different Dr. Seuss books. You can read wonderful between the lines. And I also have different clips, mukbang clips where I eat stuff, very philosophical clips, also some personal clips, and all what matters in this ASMR world, or for me in the ASMR world where I think about ASMR properly. And this is just the start. So if you like to support me, if you like to see more ASMR clips from me, because you feel now so relaxed and happy, and also you like my voice and you like the way I use ASMR as my tool, then feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Feel free to write comments, to click on the notification bell, and to also like all my clips. When you click on the notification bell, you will see that I'm really often post new videos. And I take a lot of effort in posting new stuff to show you even more the amazing world of ASMR. Every Wednesday, sometimes Friday, and every Sunday, there is a new uploaded video waiting for you, where you can go on a little adventure, lean back, relax, and listen to my voice while I show you my little world of sound. These microphones, they are like absolutely high sensitive, so when you think it is not necessary to have microphone like this, for me, quality is the most important thing what I produce. And I know that these microphones, having the quality I want to show you, and having the tool, the instrument for my voice to keep you calm and relaxed, and to show you a little another dimension in the big ASMR world. My name is ASMR Katz, and if you look in the description, you find a lot from me in the World Wide Web, because here is my playground, and I hope I can play here a long time more. I'm happy about every support, every help, and I am happy that you are here on my side. And if you liked how it sounds when I switch the pages and the sounds I made with the book, I also have different videos just with sound, and will show you how intense the minimalistic sound can be when you show it in a nice version and with a good microphone and in a good quality. So feel free to click through my timeline and check it out. And otherwise, have an awesome day, have an awesome night, sleep well. I hope I can took some stress away from you while I was reading here this book. And then I hopefully see you soon again.